everybody. I am here to help you figure out how to do the protein synthesis activity that is assigned for today. Um, who knew that Mrs. Bourne has a whiteboard at home already hanging up? So this is going to come in handy. Um, I can use it to help teach you from home, and if ever you call during a office hour, Google Hangouts, then maybe I can use the board to help you work through some things at that point in time. But I realize that the protein synthesis activity can seem kind of challenging. It's not that hard, but I want to give you an example of how to do it. So what I want to do is go through the first one with you. So if you haven't already, you want to open up the Google document that says protein synthesis activity, and you will see on that document, this DNA strand here, the single-stranded DNA, is number 1, or the first DNA sequence on the sheet, and we are going to do it together. So what you're going to be doing in this activity is you're going to be taking these DNA sequences, you're going to be transcribing them into mRNA, and then we are going to do translation. Normally in translation, what cells would do is they would bring amino acids, which would be bonded together by peptide bonds to create a protein. But in this activity, there's kind of a little spin-off. Instead of using the genetic code chart to look up the names of amino acids and writing down the names of amino acids here, you're going to use the codon key, which is on the second page of that handout, that Google Doc that I gave you in the classroom. We're going to use that to write down words. Every codon is actually going to represent an English word. And therefore, if you transcribe the DNA into mRNA correctly, you should end up with a sentence that makes sense. That's how you're going to know you did it correct. So again, I thought it'd be helpful if we did number 1 together. So again, this is the first DNA strand that you should see on that protein synthesis activity sheet. The first thing you're going to need to do is transcribe it. Go through the process of transcription. So remember, in order to do that, you simply put the matching letters to the DNA molecule, remembering that RNA does not have T's. So normally where you'd put a T, you'd put a U. So you go through, T's then would pair with A's. A's would pair with U's. Since we don't have T's, we have U's instead. C's would pair with G's. A's would pair with U's. T's still pair with A's. So on and so forth, down the entire DNA strand. So you can go ahead, work on it on your own while I'm going ahead and filling it in here. Hopefully we don't make a mistake. All right, so your mRNA strand, if you transcribed it correctly from the DNA strand, should look like that. Then, before we go to translate it, I would highly encourage you to take that mRNA strand and divide it into sets of 3 letters. And hopefully you remember that those sets of 3 letters are referred to as a codon. It just makes it easier to not get confused if you actually put a divider between the sets of 3, between the different codons. All right, then once you're finished separating your codons, you're going to use that codon key, which is on the second page of the protein synthesis Google Doc that's in the classroom, and you're going to look up these codons to see what words they signify. So if you look up AUG on your codon key, you would find that AUG means start. Now, in this case, that is not the first word of our sentence that we're going to make. It just literally says start. Just like in proteins, they always have methionine, which means start. This is going to be our start. So still write it down, though. I still want you to write it down. All right, UAA then would be the first codon that's going to be the first word in our sentence. So UAA should be AN, if you look it up. AN. GUU, if you look at your chart, should be old. GUG, if you look that up, should say rubber. Then UUU on the code chart should be band. So you write in band. GUC would be breaks. GGU would be when. GUA would be pulled. And then finally, kind of running out of room, UAG would be stop. And again, I do want you to write that down, even though it's technically not a word of the sentence. It's kind of like a period. But when it's all said and done, if you transcribed and translated it correctly, it says an old rubber band breaks when pulled. We did it. We transcribed it and translated it correctly. So you have 4 more to do on the protein sentences activity Google Sheet. So please start working away, getting those done. Also, just a heads up, some of the words or codons are going to be used more than once. So you might not want to scratch them out as you go, because some of the sentences may use some of the same words that we use in this sentence. So hopefully this helped. If not, contact me during office hours and I can work a few more through with you if that would be helpful. Okay, hope you're all doing well and healthy. I will see you again another time. Bye.